then absolutely not. They're not a role model for you. You need to take responsibility. But Justin Carney is an exciting part of the Salford brand, if you want, and there's plenty of young kids out there who are impressionable and will pick up and hear this sort of thing, and maybe haven't got necessarily the mental faculties yet to kind of separate the man from the myth, if you want. So I do think that I would have liked to have seen a harsher punishment. Also, if it isn't racially aggravated and it's not racially motivated, why the fuck did he say it?
Oh, yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean? Now, the other side of this coin, and I'm quite happy to admit this, is, look, rugby league is a sport played by some big, brash, hard men, and they will say and do things to get an advantage, and I'm fucking 99% certain that this sort of thing probably gets said on a rugby pitch in the Super League on a weekly fucking basis, and the lads who are victim to it and the lads who instigate in it are probably big enough and hard enough to pick themselves up, dust themselves down, and carry the ball in one more time and deal with it that way. But we live in a world where, and I quite agree with this, and I'm glad we live in a world where this sort of thing needs to be dealt with and addressed. Yeah. So, bravo for everyone stepping forward. Say bravo for Justin Carney in terms of, pleading guilty and what have you. It was clear that that's what he said. Initially, you saw a lot of people apologising for him and saying, oh no, he called him a fat bastard or whatever, and that was the party line for a period of time, but they quickly stopped that. So, look, I just think it's abhorrent, to be honest with you, and it has absolutely no place. And Justin Carney's Aboriginal heritage notwithstanding, just because that doesn't mitigate it in any sense from my point of view either, because it's just a different. He's a different race saying anything to a different.
Never had the sense of all the dumb shit he's done that he was racist. Yeah. I've thought a lot of the times he's unhinged, he's stupid, and he's not really working all the time on the right level. Yeah. And I think that's where this has come from.
He's not a racist. What he said was racist, and that's why you need to put him. And because he's a bit thick, punish him fucking harshly so he gets he doesn't need to live in the world of nuance.
I don't know if he's clever or thick, but he certainly comes across on the rugby field the way things switch in his head, and he does some nasty things sometimes.
I suspect there's a kangaroo loose in his top paddock, let's put it that way.
The thing that's really wound me up about this is you get the people throwing out the line like, oh, he gets 8 games for just being a bit racist, whereas someone else only gets 4 games for breaking someone's leg, or that sort of thing. I can't tolerate that sort of ridiculous argument. No. And I think anyone who says that needs to have a look at themselves and really understand whether they're a racist, because that's, to me, is more racist than what Justin Carney did in his not saying that the RFL disciplinary panel does not give out sufficient punishments on almost all incidents that happen that get referred to it. I've written blogs about it, but don't compare the two and treat it like you're not. What if you're going to compare the two at all? No, don't compare the two. Sorry, but if you're going to say anything, just say, "Oh, the person should have got a bigger ban for that cannonball tackle," and don't even mention the fucking abuse thing.
Something that was a bit racist. Yeah, exactly. It's not a bit racist.
People need to. Well, people are just racist if they're saying that to me.
Yeah, I agree. Right, St Helens have appointed Sydney Roosters assistant Justin Holbrook as their new head coach on a 2.5-year contract. Holbrook has also worked at Canterbury, St George and Parramatta and is in charge of the Australia under-20 side. The club has a rich and proud history and I'm very grateful to be given the opportunity, he said. Saints Chief Executive Mike Rush said, "We are delighted to secure Justin. He's widely experienced and has a track record of coaching at the highest level. He impressed me with his knowledge of the British game and his work with younger players." Before I carry on, did you see the piece that came up on social media about how they made the decision on the 3 candidates?
Yeah.
Mike Rush put together a portfolio on each of them but didn't include their names and got the board to make a decision based on that rather than on...
Very interesting, yeah.
Clever way of doing it. Carrying on, Derek Traynor, Jamal Lolisi and Sean Long have been in charge since club legend Kieran Cunningham left in April. Lolisi and Sean Long will assist Holbrook, who Saints expect to arrive in England as soon as possible, while Traynor will revert to his existing role with the academy.
Yeah, Saints fan Wally Frogmore got in touch and said, "Hard to make an opinion on the Holbrook appointment. Outside of his stint as assistant coach to the Chucks, he has more experience with junior teams. Hopefully he can come in and fix our mess. I will remain cautiously optimistic."
Okay.
I think these sort of reasonably successful, reasonably well-regarded assistant coaches from down under can come in and make a difference. Yeah. Michael Maguire did.
Yeah, there you go. Jesse Brodich and Kevin Proctor will not be selected for the 2017 World Cup after allegations they took cocaine at Say New Zealand Rugby League. Brodich stood down as national captain after it was alleged in the court that he and Proctor bought the drug following Friday's defeat by Australia. The decision to exclude the pair from the tournament was taken after NZRL management and senior players met to discuss possible sanctions. The allegation against the pair emerged in a court case which heard that a local man was captured on CCTV preparing a white powder on his phone. He then handed it to Bromwich and Proctor, who were said to have rolled up banknotes and taken the substance. While both players were named in court, neither has been charged with an offence. I can't express my disappointment enough in their actions, said New Zealand coach Dave Kidwell. We have values to uphold. They've broken my trust, their teammates' trust, and the trust of the New Zealand public. No one is bigger than the team. Melbourne Storm prop Bromwich is 28, has also been suspended for 2 games by his club in order to have counselling and treatment courses. Proctor, again, who's 28, has stepped down as co-captain of the Gold Coast Titans and will appear before a club board this week and will not play until a final decision has been reached.
Yeah, we got a bit of banter from Soap Opera for Men on this one. He said, the only thing shocking about players of any code using Charlie is that people are still shocked.
Yeah.
Hashtag real talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I agree. Do you know what? I agree entirely with Soap Opera for Men.
It's rife, isn't it?
Absolutely rife. And it's in a sporting environment where lads have a bit of brass and they want a bit of a good time.
And they want to switch off after being a fucking embarrassment for 80 minutes.
They probably should have had a bit before they fucking went on the field, to be perfectly honest with you. Look,
it wouldn't be performance enhancing though. It just might switch.
They'd put a bit of wind up them. They'd have been telling you all about the screenplay that they're writing at half time. Look, my opinions on recreational drug use don't need to be part of this discussion. I do feel like if you can handle your lifestyle and you don't let it start to affect other people, then fair play to you. Then you need to look at it if that stops being the case. But they're professional athletes. Again, they're held in very high esteem, and they're also under a massive microscope in Australia in an environment where it isn't going to come as a surprise to them that these are the steps that governing bodies take, because there's previous for this, going back to time immemorial. So, if at 28 years old, Procter and Bromwich are daft enough to get, I'm not saying they shouldn't have daft enough to get caught, but if they're stupid enough to allow themselves in that environment, then fair play. These are the ramifications. This is the end of the equation. A plus B equals C, and that's what these two have come up with. So I have no surprise that it happens. I have no strong feelings about the way it's been dealt with quite harshly.
If you're an NRL player who's outrageously stupid enough to do something that is not what should be done, then you're gonna get found out nowadays more often than not. There's with the social media age we live in, and they have an integrity unit in the competition. If you've got that, they're gonna be on you. Yeah, they're gonna and the clubs are gonna want to keep save their brands and that sort of stuff.
Of course.
So they're gonna be seen to take stern action. What this really it hurts them a little bit, but it hurts their teams more.
Yeah,
and particularly
I was
their
quite
national
happy
team.
At this news.
Particularly their national team. Yeah.
I was like, good on him. I have half of mine to buy a ticket to Australia and go start selling a bit of blow. See if I can't catch a few Aussies out.
Yeah, get down to Auckland. Kieran Foran's probably an easy target.
No, don't mind Auckland. I was going to get myself out of Brisbane, see what Darius Boyd's up to, and the rest of the gang. But yeah, fair play. They've been caught out and they've been punished quite harshly for it. And I'm certain that given the level of punitive sanctions that have been put in place, both these young men who will have been in the first 13 and who will have been keen to represent their country in the World Cup will be regretting it massively right now. I
don't particularly endorse recreational drug use, and it's not something I partake of myself at all nowadays.
No. Well, nor I. Let's be clear. I don't.
Oh yeah, no.
I have broader opinions on it, but I'm a father at the end of the
day. I mean, a couple of lines of coke is probably not gonna. Is probably not the biggest, worst thing that these people have ever done in their lives.
I bet they've got videos on their phone that are worse than the stuff they've been caught out for.
But they've got to realise that they have a responsibility to their teams, their national team, and their teammates, and
of course,
and that sort of thing. And where something is clearly not tolerated, just like Justin Carney, he did something that's not tolerated and been really punished for it. It's the same crap.
Yeah, there you go. Wakefield Trinity winger Tom Johnston will miss the rest of the season after scans confirmed he ruptured his ACL in the 30-10 win against Catalan Dragons. Johnston is 21 and has been ruled out for up to 8 months, a layoff that has also ended in hopes of him making the England squad for the World Cup. He will undergo surgery once the knee has settled from the initial damage. Massive shame for this young man.
Yeah, it is a shame. Obviously, people can come back from these things a lot better than they used to be able to, so I don't have any big long-term concerns for the young fella, but it's a shame for him this season. Mason Caton-Brown's taking his chance, though, isn't he?
He certainly is, yeah. Super League side Widnes have entered a dual registration partnership with Championship side Bradford for the remainder of the season. The agreement begins with immediate effect and allows players to move between the two clubs, or I suspect that will only be going in one direction. Widnes coach Dennis Betts said the dual registration system has worked well with us in previous seasons, and I'm pleased to have entered into this relationship with Bradford Bulls. It's imperative that we have an opportunity for our players to gain regular competitive rugby. As we do not currently run a reserve team, the partnership with Bradford provides me with the ability to source game time for any member of the squad that we don't deem it necessary.
Yeah, Neil McEwen got in touch. He said, is Tom ready for the shit Chapel House twin to be playing for Bradford on dual registration?
Yeah, and he did. He played last week. We got absolutely fucking mullered, so it's really panning out well for us.
Who else was there? Someone else?
Oh, I don't recall. The only name that jumped out was Ted.
Sam Brooks.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, Ted Chapel. Big Ted. Widnes have announced that their winger Corey Thompson has activated a clause in his contract which will allow him to return home to Australia next season. Thompson, who joined the Vikings in 2016 from the Bulldogs, has opted to return to Oz from next year but will remain with the Vikings for the duration of the 2017 season.
I'm sure his agent's flying around with the 2016 video, and completely forgetting the 2017 video to try and get him a club.
There you go. Hull FC general manager Motu Tony is to leave the Super League club at the end of the season to return to New Zealand. Tony's 35 and played in the black and white side that won the Challenge Cup in 2005 and also had spells with Castleford and Wakefield in Super League. He took on the general manager role with the club before the 2014 season. Tony told the club website, "It will be really difficult to leave a club and its loyal supporters that have treated my family and I so well."
Yeah, he's been there a long time and is
younger than you expected to be as well, Motu Tony.
He's done probably an unexpected role in terms of the general manager stuff. It seems like he's really involved with the players. Whenever you look at a charge that's gone against Hull FC with the disciplinary, Motu Tony's always the one there sort of representing the player, so I don't know if he has a player welfare sidearm to his general manager role, but yeah, so they'll have to replace him.
Possibly so, but good luck to him back in New Zealand. Sheffield Eagles have signed former Widnes Vikings player Paddy Flynn on a deal until the end of the season. The 29-year-old had been out of the game following his release from the Vikings at the end of last year.
I can't believe it's taken this long for someone in the Championship to pick him up. Yeah,
exactly. York City Knights have signed former Hull FC and England academy player Callum Lancaster on a month-long trial with a view to a permanent deal. Lancaster burst on the scene back in 2014 with back-to-back hat-tricks against Widnes and Warrington, and the winger bagged 19 tries in an impressive season for Hull's reserve grade in 2016. But after limited opportunities this season, felt a move away from Humberside could reignite his career. Good luck to the lad.
Yeah, he looked flashy when he first came in, but he's done now, hasn't he?
White kicked on, hasn't he?
Yeah, so often a change of scenery is good for people like that.
There you go. The NRL have suspended Newcastle Knights player Jared Mullen for 4 years after he tested positive for the banned steroid drostanolone. Mullen had appealed to the NRL's anti-doping body in March after a 4-year ban was recommended by the Australian Sports Anti-Doping Authority, better known as ASDA. The 30-year-old's appeal argued he had used the drug to help with his recovery from a series of serious hamstring injuries rather than gain any competitive advantage. I would suggest that recovering from a hamstring injury quicker would give you a competitive advantage. The NRL's anti-doping tribunal confirmed the ban on Wednesday, leaving Mullen 21 days to appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. ASADA will continue to work to protect those athletes who make the right decisions when it comes to injury treatment and rehabilitation, Chief Executive Ben McDevitt said in a statement. Ultimately, Mr. Mullen has paid a heavy price for his poor decision making.
Yeah, cheating when you're injured is the same as cheating when you're playing. To me.
I agree. And finally, the Lions will make.
Although you still pledge your support to the peptide boys, don't you?
Yeah, but they were punished. We move on. Everyone deserves a 9th and 10th chance, Mark. The Lions will make their long-awaited return to the Rugby League International... Start all this again. Right, the Lions will make their long-awaited return after the Rugby League International Federation confirmed plans for a 2019 tour. The international governing body today confirmed the next 4-year calendar for international events, which features the return of tours for both the Lions and the Kangaroos. The 4-year cycle features a New Zealand tour to Europe and Emerging Nations Championship in 2018, followed by a Lions tour to the Southern Hemisphere in 2019 and a Kangaroo tour to Europe in 2020. The Kangaroo tour will feature at least 3 test matches against England and 1 against France. The final year of the cycle, the next cycle I should say, in 2021, will feature the Rugby League Men's and Women's World Cups in the UK.